I did some research on this spot and thought it might be a really good place to check out. It's going to be trashy though. I'm looking around, seeing a lot of broken bottles and cans and junk. We're pretty close to a town, but I have hopes for this spot. We got a couple days before I have to be in Tennessee, so if this pans out, we'll hang out here for a little while. I see a little bottle over here. Let's go look at that. Ah, oyster shell. Oyster shells are always good. So let's look at the bottle. I see a bottle. That's a weird little thing. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that thing. I thought it was just going to be a screw top colored bottle. I've never seen one quite like that, and I'm definitely going to keep it. That make a very nice little display piece, like on a windowsill or something. That's cool. What does it say? Do you know? Jeez, I can't read it. Bourjois, which is French, of course. Clean it up a little bit. Don't want to lead you astray here with the old Aquachigger fountain of misknowledge. Kind of cool. Alright, it's a great first find. I know it's not like really valuable or particularly cool, but I don't have one like it. It's a first for me, and it always makes my day. Let's get to it. Well, this is my first target that isn't a piece of barbed wire. Looks like a little piece of tin of some sort. That could be old, but you never know with this kind of stuff. I'm just going to kind of hunt up along the bank here a little bit, and we'll get out there. I got to find some bedrock. Looks like there's some bedrock a little further up there. So, well, there's some bedrock right there. Let's go up there and look at that. I'm finding a lot of barbed wire today. It must have been an old fence that washed in here or something. You got to be careful when you're digging this stuff, because of course these things are kind of sharp-ish, and they can puncture you and cause you to get nasty infections, especially when you're in water that looks like this. I do have a glove on today. I usually do wear a glove when I'm digging. I only take it off when I have to run the camera sometimes. But yeah, always be careful of barbed wire and other sharp things like glass. Now this find right here gets me excited, because this is an old cast iron pot. And that could be from the 1700s or 1800s. But as importantly, this didn't get washed down here in some flood. So we're close to some old stuff. Whether we'll actually find some buttons or bullets or whatever, you know, we don't know, but this is a very, very good sign. Iron. Man's history is written in iron, Mr. Joe Bill. Remember that. Iron. I'm finding a ton of iron up through here. A lot of it's not that old. Looks like it probably washed down. There's a lot of like 55-gallon drums. This actually had a piece of wire around it. You can see in that hole right there. So someone probably used this for some sort of anchor or trap weight or something. Hey, man, there's a lot of iron. That's good though. That means no one's been here. At least they haven't been looking for artillery shells. You would have dug that, because that sounded pretty much like a shell. Alright, we'll keep it up and we'll keep moving. Slowly, my friends. Very slowly. Well, I think I found the culprit for a lot of the iron I've been finding. I think it's this big old barrel right here. Looks almost like a trash can, but this top rim is really heavy, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it really does look like a trash can though. It's just falling apart, and all these little pieces that you can see there are washing into the bank down there, or washing down behind these rocks and stuff. So that's a lot of what I'm hearing, I'm afraid. Not going to carry that out, of course, but we'll put it right back where we found it. I haven't really gotten any good bullet signals or anything yet, but we still got a ways to go, so we might get lucky. Maybe we'll find another bottle, who knows. We'll keep looking and looking. And look. Found my first mini ball. Look, I think that's a dropped one too. I found it up here on the bank. So I'm kind of checking these areas too, just to see what might have washed in. I can't tell if that's fired or dropped for sure. I suspect it's probably dropped. Yeah, man. You see any more in there? This is down just a couple inches right there. It could be one laying on top. It's got a lot of white on it, so that might have washed out of this bank right here not that long ago. I don't see any, but yeah, let's look around in this area right here. Seldom do you find one bullet by itself, especially if they're dropped. We didn't get skunked. Love it. So I have the same type of bullet signal here. That's where I just dug the bullet that might have been dropped or fired. I'm not sure. You can see where I filled it back in, but you can kind of see where I dug. This is a very similar signal here. So I'm thinking this might be a bullet as well. All we'll have to do is get the pinpointer out. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me get this glove off. Alright, so the signal was right here. It makes me a little nervous though, because anytime you're behind rocks like this where the current's moving this way, bottle caps and stuff can get caught. But it did sound a lot like that other bullet, so let's check it out. Yeah, it's right there. I don't have a good feeling about this because there's leaves in there. Yeah, look. Just like I thought. That's the problem when you're behind these type of areas. This creates low pressure when the river's flooding. And these cans and light stuff, they get swept in behind it and settle down, just like this one did. But you can also have bullets, so you have to dig it all if you want to find it all. But we'll dig some more of these type of signals. It sounded a lot like that bullet. Well, this signal sounded too good to be true, and it was. We'll keep looking. Thought I saw an arrowhead up there, but it wasn't. That's where I just dug the can, and I got an iron signal. Can you see that? You know what that is? Do ya? Give you a close-up. I suspect that is a conibear trap. Kind of used for muskrats, 110, which is a small one. Looks pretty old, so it's not going to snap on me if that's what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't think I'd be able to even set this one. This spring is probably wasted. Nah, I can probably set it. Well, it doesn't have the trigger on it, so. But yeah, that's a conibear trap. Normally used for muskrats. You know, in little creeks like this. Couldn't really catch anything too much bigger. Maybe a mink, that'd be about it. Alright, well, at least we're finding stuff. I mean, I haven't been very far along here. We found one bullet and a blue bottle. That's okay. We'll find more. We might have to turn this into a river treasure video. A shoe! At least there's no foot in it. We'll leave that here too. I don't want to carry it out. We'll bury it. Let the next digger find it. Yeah, I know that comment about the shoe not having a foot in it probably sounded a little bit morbid, but I mean that does happen, especially like on the west coast of the U.S., up in like the Seattle area. People find tennis shoes on the beaches with feet in them all the time, and they think that's from people who have drowned or somehow ended up in the water, the ocean, in Asia, like around Japan or whatever. And their bodies float across the ocean, and by the time they get to Seattle or our west coast, all that's left of them is the foot that's in the tennis shoe, because, you know, things can't get in there to eat it very well. They find them all the time out there. That's why I said that. Anyway, I got a good signal right here. But now that the water's cleared up, I can see it. It's a can. Yep, it's a can. See, we're behind this big rock right here, but I mean, there could be good stuff here too. Like that pill bottle over there. This is a nice hand-forged link or hook of some kind. That's obviously been broken. It could have been washed downstream, attached to a big piece of timber or a beam or, you know, piece of wood of some kind, and settled out here, and the wood could have rotted. But it's an old one at least. Kind of goes with the kettle piece that I found. I found nothing else old since then, well, except for the bullet. But we're not done yet. We're not done. We got a ways to go. There's some pawpaw trees up in there. It's not pawpaw season yet. When it is, we'll get some. This is a weird looking thing. I wasn't sure what it was until I saw the blade down there. It's some type of jigsaw. I don't think I've ever seen one like that. Is that from like the 1960s? is weird. Can't carry that either. There's so much junk in here where I'm at now. You can see all kinds of rugs and bags and there's tons of junk. We'll have to move up past this area pretty quick. I got little fishies on its last legs. What do you think? Not sure what kind of it is. This is a chub or something. You can see it's got some big sores on the one side. Hope I don't look like that at the end of the day. The junk pile's getting a little bit better though. I've seen some older bottles. I mean, that's not ancient or anything. It's probably early 1900s, mid 1900s, but you can see all the broken bottles and stuff in here. A lot of newer stuff, but some old beef bones. Some milk bottle. That'd be nice to find a whole one. Cool. Yeah, I think this is definitely a post-Civil War dump. That's a skateboard right there. Yeah, some old milk bottle top. That's an old cream top to a milk bottle. Nice to find one of them whole. So some lids or something here. That's a vinegar bottle right there. White something, I can't remember. Just offhand. We're going to skip over this area. Try to eyeball a thing or two, but there's just so much junk in here. So obviously was someone's dump for years and years and years. White House vinegar, that's what it is. White House. There's a old Coke bottle. I don't know how old that is. Yeah, I guess it's not Coke. Or is it? Yeah, it's not very old. I don't think. Alright. What's that? What's that bottle right there? Orange Crush. Alright, I'm going to keep walking. I'll turn her on if we find something interesting. Well, I've been seeing lots of Coke bottles and like mid-1900s stuff. Let me see if I can eyeball a bullet there. The machine's almost worthless here. There's so much stuff. I do see a cork top bottle right here, a little medicine bottle. That might be neat. What do you think? It's a clear one. Well, it's not a bad little bottle. It's a little medicine bottle. I'll go ahead and keep it. I'm not sure how old it is, but it's probably, turn of the century, 1900 or so. Let's keep looking in here. There may be some more. I wonder if this creek ever gets less cloudy than it is right now. It did rain about 2 days ago, so. Well, it's my first sinker of the day. It's not an old one, but it's lead. This isn't too bad right here where this is like a hard clay, so there's not as much junk on top. And hopefully any bullets that might be here, wouldn't have got washed away in the flood. So, like that sinker being heavy, and it just sticks in any depression right there. Bullets will do the same. We'll keep going. We'll go up at least around the bend. Maybe not too much further than that though. Or maybe we'll just keep going forever. At least till tonight. Looks real shallow up there. I wonder if that could be a little fording area. Look how shallow it is. Let's go look at that. Well, now we're up into the area where there's old refrigerators in the creek. And all kinds of other junk. I actually stopped because I smell cigarette smoke. That means there's somebody nearby. That's all beaten down up there. I wonder if there's like a homeless camp there or something. Let's go look. Probably not, because we would have had a trail down to the creek here. Probably, if it was a camp. You can definitely smell smoke though. Could be from a nearby house or something, but yeah, there's nothing going on there. Yeah, I hear a dog barking up on the hill. Probably a house up there, somebody smoking on the back porch. I hope. Not a bunch of banditos down here waiting for me. Yeah, there's just way too much stuff to do much detecting here. It's obviously a dump, not that old. Funny thing is, there's no road there. Unless there used to be one some decades ago. That could be, I suppose. There's an old bed. That trash isn't that old. That's no older than the 70s, probably 60s at the earliest. Yeah, let's go up to those things in the water up there. I don't know what they are. Look like chairs or tables or something. We might have to go back downstream and go downriver from where we first put in. This is getting ridiculous up here. This is a neat little area right here. Look at this. I can see some type of little medicine bottles, a cork top. And what first caught my attention was the little enamelware pans and stuff up in there. So there's some type of dump in this layer right here, and it's obviously been covered over the years, in the years with silt and whatnot. But this might be a good little spot to check out. At least looking for bottles. I mean, it's not anywhere near like Civil War era, in which, you know, I like to find Civil War stuff, but might be some neat medicine bottles or milk bottles in there too. Let's just poke around in here a little bit, see what we can find. Well, let's go ahead and check out this thing first. See what kind of bottle it is. Here's an old shoe. Piece of shoe. Can. Probably just like that other bottle I have. McCormick. Yeah, it's pretty much just like that other bottle I have, except not quite as nice. I'll save it though, because this is a little guy. Get the muck out of it. Alright, let's dig around here a little bit. What do you think? Wait, that's my pants. I'll run the detector over here too in a minute. I don't really see a whole lot. This was kind of caught my eye, this stuff right here. Alright, I'm going to have to turn the camera off, and I'll just dig around here just a little bit. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here though. Alright, see you in a few. That's kind of neat. I just pulled this whole pot or pan out of there. It's not really a pan, basin I guess you'd call it. Look at all the stuff that was inside broken. That's kind of neat, huh? Nothing very old though. Yeah, I don't guess we'll dig around here very long. I don't have a good feeling about this place. And we have other older stuff to look for, I hope. I'm going to go ahead and pack everything back in this hole. I mean, this whole bank's going to get washed out, obviously. That's why it's here like this. We'll keep our eyes open. We might get something neat out of here. I'll run the machine over here, too, before I leave. You never know what they could have dumped out. Maybe an old cannonball or something. Alright, back in there is where I dug out that pot or whatever that thing was. And there's a bunch of bottles and bones and stuff up in here. It's kind of neat, huh? Probably a cow bone and some little soda bottles. Not too old, but there's a top of a milk bottle. I'll definitely collect any of those I can find, especially if they have the dairy marked on it. That looks like an older one right there. A little pumpkin seed looking thing. I don't know, guys. This might be worth poking around in. It's amazing how much stuff people used to dump in the rivers back in the old days, you know. I mean, they still do, but not like they used to. Of course, it probably wasn't illegal back then. It naturally is now. It's a cork top bottle right there. Plastic. That's probably semi-newish. And cork top. Oh, it's melted, isn't it? That's a melted bottle. Someone probably had that in a burn barrel. Back in the old days, in fact, when I was a kid, people used to burn their trash. That's probably what that is from. Yeah, those are chairs. That's what we were seeing way back there. Yeah, we'll go up a little further. I mean, we might get into a good dump here or something. Yeah, there's a lot of junk up there. And all kinds of pieces of concrete and stuff, too. Alright. Back to work. I decided to look up along this bank right here, and I just found this little buckle. It looks almost like a little colonial era, like knee buckle or something, doesn't it? You can see where the attachment would have been on the back. I'm not sure that's what it is. Normally they're brass, or at least pewter. This is iron. I don't know if that's what that is. What do you think? Let's spend some more time right along here. I just kind of zip through. This is the hole I dug, and I'll completely fill it in when I'm done. Let's look along here. I just kind of zipped through here real quick. I wasn't paying much attention, but that looks kind of old to me. Well, this little area didn't pan out on a bag of trash. A bunch of beer cans in it. Can't carry all that stuff out. A lot of little animal tracks there. Looks like mostly raccoon though. Alright. Let's keep moving. Looks like a spring right there. I wonder if there's a spring back up in there. That's where I dug the colonial buckle type thingy in the bag of trash right there. And I got a little squeaker here. I can see a coin right there. I'm pretty sure that's just a modern penny. Could be an Indian head. What do you think? Oh, looks like Mr. Lincoln. Let's wash him off. Give him a little bath. Yep, definitely a Lincoln penny. That's a wheat penny at least. I do believe. God, I can't even tell, it's so smooth. Pretty sure that's a wheat penny. It's hard to see from here, but you probably already know. Okay, we'll look a little bit closer from here on out, up to the spring at least. Yeah, I'm surprised it took so long. I don't think those are going to be repairable. What is that thing? There's probably some really good stuff in here, but it's just buried under all this junk. That's an old picnic table or something. Oh, beer cans up underneath there. Nice. Yeah, something up there. What's that? Somebody comes down to the river here quite a bit. I don't know if that's a homeless camp. I don't think there's any houses this far down. At least it didn't look like there was on the map when I looked at it. It's definitely fairly well used. Some type of little camp here. Nah, smells clean. Yeah, definitely too clean. That's good. This almost reminds me of kids more than it does like a homeless camp. Not enough other types of trash around, like food cans and stuff. Excellent. Back to the water. Looks like somebody beat me to this. What is that anyway? Is that glasses? Phone or what? Oh well. Definitely a lot more people on this stretch of the river. It's kind of odd that there's a fishing rod over there in a cinder block with a line out in the river. And no one around. I actually went up past here. Well, there's a bobber. Maybe they're fishing. I guess. I went by here about 15 minutes ago and didn't notice that. And see it now, but I haven't seen anybody over on that side. Weird. Maybe they saw me and they're hiding. We're just going to point at the bike and say, I want to ride my bicycle, I want to ride my bike. And I saw this turtle shell. Look at that, that's much more cool, isn't it? Oh, poor little dude. He's definitely not well. I like that, but we're not going to save it. We'll put it up here. If I ever come back, I'll grab it again, maybe. I only have this one bag here, and it's going to get full by the end of the day. And that thing would definitely fall apart. So maybe we'll come back here with a kayak, bebop around, and look for bottles. And more shows there's a lot of these broken medicine bottles here. I mean, there's tons. So we'll definitely come back here. Well, not on that bicycle, though, because it isn't a bicycle built for two. So one of us would have to walk. Look at this. Looks like obsidian or lava flow down through here, but it I think it might be that stuff like the man-made glass like you find in around furnaces, which is odd because this definitely looks like it flowed right here, so it had to have been dumped hot right here. I wonder if this is a furnace. Maybe there's an old furnace up in this area. I mean, it would be buried now, of course, because it's a huge berm of junk. Let's go up and look at that while we're here. What do you think? Yeah, Looks like people have been digging all along here, doesn't it? Maybe not though, I don't know. This is definitely a dump though. You can see even down that groundhog hole where they're digging out bottles and stuff. All kinds of bottles up in there. I'd say that's probably been dug out. Anyway, what really interests me though is that flow right there of that glass. I mean, it's not like in a dump you would just take a big molten vat of glass down here and dump it. This had to have been dumped fresh and then hardened, because you can see it's like right on the contour. Man, that's interesting as heck right there. Here's a pretty little ball mason jar I just found. Not cracked or anything. It's a number 2. Kind of the older style too. We'll definitely keep that one. The bag's getting full though, so we need to be really super careful. We're almost back to where I put in, and we'll dump the bottles there on the bank and then go down further just with the detector. A lot of trash in here, man. Look at all that stuff. Whew. That's a big old tree right there. That was probably here during the Civil War. I should check it for bullets. I'm not finding any in water except for the one. We're going to get up on the bank and walk down. It's just getting really grown up here. There's probably some deep holes and snags we'll get tripped up on. But look at this little washout. This is kind of interesting. Got a big old bone. Man, that's a big old soup bone of some sort. You can see where it's been cut. And that's giant. Would one family do that? I don't know. Some old bottles. Mostly just broken stuff here though. It's probably been picked over the years. Or maybe just the broken stuff ended up here. I don't know. Alright. Let's take a little walk up through here, see what we can find. We're right back where we first started today, and I found the bullet right up in there somewhere. And I just dug a little homemade sinker right here. So this might be a good little area. Maybe we went the wrong way. Maybe we should have gone downstream instead of upstream. Just dug this nice old base to a kettle or skillet right below where I put in when we first got on the river, near where I found that bullet. So that's an old piece too. You can see there's another broken section on top, so it was probably actually tossed in the river altogether, which makes me think someone smashed it up and then pitched it in. That's something you would often find around Civil War camps, because when they would break camps, especially ones that they were in for a long time, they had something like this. They couldn't carry it with them because it was too heavy, because everything that they used had to go in their backpack, and they marched everywhere. They didn't get to ride anywhere. So stuff like this, a lot of times they would just pitch in the river or just break up so the enemy couldn't use it. That's a good sign right there. Of course, I keep saying that. But I think it's a good sign. Well, I guess we actually did go in the wrong direction in the beginning. That's the old bottom of that skillet that I dug with a leg. This is actually one of 3 legs. And right here beside it, I dug this buckle. This is actually a colonial era shoe buckle. Those are the pinholes right there where the middle part would be attached. Isn't that cool? Awesome!